Okay, camera B. All right, action on camera.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
We'll put that right at the beginning. Hi,
We should, we will.
Yeah. So why not like not logistically, but like why are you working on concurrent enrollment, not concurrent enrollment, but the co-requisite model on English 145? Like, why do you care? I know you care a lot. That's why
Okay.
I'm framing it so blasé for me.
So why am I working on
So,
it, or?
yeah, how will it help students?
Okay. So why am I passionate about English 145, the co-requisite to English 105? I'm passionate because in my years of working on this very co-requisite model at other institutions, I've seen students come out of 145 excelling beyond those students who just came out of 105 and going on to get the internships, going on to get the amazing jobs, and to have a lot of confidence in their abilities, their communication abilities. So I've seen market success wherever I've been with this model. And I've seen it address holistic needs of students, which is exciting because so often in higher level institutions, we kind of move students through quickly, without time to reflect on processes, which is really necessary for students to progress in their learning. So thinking of them as a being that where there's a mind-body connection is really important. Making sure that they know they're connected to a larger community that supports them is essential. Not just a number, but knowing which resources to reach out to be successful and to say, hey, I need help. Because over the last year or two, when I was at Iowa State and then here, 50 to 70% of my students have had real mental health concerns that we can help them with in English 145. We can help them, connect them to the counseling services, but we can also help them not become anxious with what they're learning, help them break it down into sizable units rather than just going into 105 and kind of getting lost.
Yeah. Are there things that you do just in your a non-English 145, just any class that you're in that, what are your approaches to recognizing ways that you can help students or seeing students where they are? I guess we can connect it to 145 if you want. Yeah, I know that you've told me in passing about there will be some kind of early assessment. Assessment's not the right word. An essay. You're going to take an early essay, right, in English 105 and see what you can identify early on, right? What's your approach with meeting students where they are at the beginning of a comp one class?
Yeah, there's so much to consider when we're thinking about how to appropriately place English 105 students or students into 105 as itself or with the 145 support. What we traditionally had as our model was we had, like a compass or Accuplacer test. And that's one of those bubble tests. And as we're finding there's a shift away, a mindset shift, fortunately, across our whole culture, across the United States, more institutions are moving away from ACT, SAT, and those sorts of bubble tests. And we weren't really looking at students' actual writing in the past. So that's what I'm thrilled with this new model, is in English 105 in the first week, our English 105 instructors are going to be administering writing diagnostic with a rubric, and then they're going to see if there's a red flag. But not only that, they're going to watch the progress of the students over the first couple of weeks and see how they're approaching their first writing assignment and see if they're lost, if they're really overwhelmed, if they're struggling to even put together a paragraph, or they don't really have the concept of what a focus is in a paper. And then from there, those students will be referred to us, to English 145, where then we can work with them individually so they don't get lost in their 105 class that moves rather quickly because they have so much writing they have to do, and they move from genre to genre to genre. So we work with the students on those crucial building blocks to ensure that they're able to not only connect with the reader, but they also have those essential skills to even be understood.
Awesome. Can you talk about what it's been like to collaborate with, from the outside looking in, it looks like you and Crystal are working just phenomenally together. So can you talk about what it's like to collaborate with someone who is at another campus?
Yeah, the idea of collaborating across campuses is really necessary. I mean, DMAC we've got all these islands, right, which can build a lot of disharmony. It can make people feel like maybe everything revolves around Ankeny, which is problematic. Where we want to go definitely with pathways and with education in general is being aligned with one another, making sure all of the voices are represented. Because the student demographic at Boone is very different than here, but we all have these great ideas to share as a result. And we are all doing very creative things with these new modes of communication, like the synchronous classroom, online education. So I feel like I've learned a lot from my counterparts off-site. I think it's very important, not only for all voices to feel valued. That's the only way, really, that there's going to ever be full institutional buy-in. But I like conversing not only with Crystal, but with district-wide English instructors and advisors. Kind of, if we don't do that, then we're not building this holistic framework of success for our students. We're going to continue to feel fragmented. It's really essential. So I'm really excited. I came from an institution out in California where they were really connecting the dots, making sure that everyone's voice was heard. And initially there was a lot of resistance, right? People don't want to change. But as we progressed, we built a really awesome model for students and for ourselves.
Awesome. One last question.
8 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, one last question. Is there, as a relatively new faculty member at DMAC, obviously not in your career, are there things that you recognize that DMAC is doing well that can be highlighted as positive?
So, in terms of where I am now I've taught for over 20 years in my career, and I chose DMAC. I was very excited when this job came available. I've taught for 20 years at other community colleges, technical colleges, abroad, Microsoft universities, and I have directed at a few programs at various institutions too, including learning centers. But in all of these experiences, I have to say, you hope that the place that where you finally find your home is the greatest of them all, and DMAC is. For me, I feel like, of course, I see resistance. I see at times change being difficult to bring to fruition, necessary change to benefit our students. But I see a lot of love with my colleagues. I see a real passion. Everyone that I've met who teaches here and who serves students, counselors and advisors, is here for the right reasons. They're really vested in the students and seeing them succeed in life and seeing them live by dreams. You know, they actually have those sorts of personal conversations with students that matter. But as for me, I get up every morning and I'm thrilled to come into work because I get to see these people who want to know me as more than someone who walks into a classroom to teach something that's on a schedule. People who ask me about my kids, who ask me about, you know, if I was sick, how I'm feeling, and who offered to help me. So I'm very happy here.
Awesome. Cool. 10 minutes? Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Perfect.
Is that it?
Yeah, let's cut.
Ah,
That's it.
bummer.
Do you want to say more? Was there more that you
No,
wanna
no,
say?
no,
There
no.
can be.